welcome back. We haven't done this in a while. We are all at the kitchen table and we're going to hash out this time a parenting topic. We've been talking about kind of our weight and Brittany and her bravery, but we're going to switch gears now. You talked about it. You had a mommy body. You have a mommy body. I've got a mommy body. Don't we all? Joining me right now is Jamie Whedon, and you are also a blogger, and you've gotten also on the you were HuffPo Live talking about discipline your kids. The name of your blog is?
The Random Bloggette.
The Random Bloggette. And also we have another blogger, but also columnist, Mary Helen Dara. And the name of your parenting column is?
MH Mother Mayhem. I am Mother Mayhem.
You are Mother Mayhem.
Yes, I am Mother Mayhem.
We all have kids. You've got 3, and they're all under the age of 7. Is that right? Mm-hmm. 2 boys and a girl. And how many kids do you have?
I have 2. My oldest son is 11, and my daughter is 7.
Okay, and how about you?
I have a house of estrogen, and you know, I have everything from an ICU nurse, hard to believe, down to 2 in college, and then I have a young woman from China. So
you have
yes, year 2. Things are going well. Sometimes we get lost in translation, but it's all good.
So we've got all age kids basically in this little group. My kids are 21 and almost 19. So I shouldn't really say they're kids.
Yeah,
I have adult children.
15 to 24. So.
I have adult children that need me to buy them cars. So they're still kids.
Yeah.
All right. The starting point of the conversation is the reason you got the HuffPo interview was you had some things to say after this hit big, things you learned after not yelling at your children. I know it's like a double negative or something like that, but it's a woman wrote this story about not yelling at her kids and how that opened her eyes to how she was treating them and all these great, I guess, interactions.
Yes.
So the first question is, do you yell at your kids?
I do.
Okay. What do you
do
yell at them? All the time? Sometimes?
Sometimes. A lot of times I've found that it is after I've had a very hard day because I work a full-time job and then I come home and, you know, your kids don't understand that.
No.
You're dealing with everything outside of the home, so you may be bringing stuff in, and then when they're not behaving, it's everything just builds on top of you and you just explode. Mm-hmm. So I try not to yell that much. I do definitely let it get out of hand a few times.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I think that's honest.
Yeah.
Brittany, do you yell?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right. I really yell. I mean, they don't really listen, but I yell. How you get mad, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I'm an overreactor. I'm Irish and fiery, and I think that that's like the normal volume. And my house is loud, so if anybody plans to hear me anyways, it's going to be at a much louder volume.
Right.
And how about you? You're quieter.
But I have a little advantage, is I'm not a yeller, never have been. In fact, my oldest daughter said, "Mom, I do not have any memory of you ever raising your voice to me, but we know it's in there," and which can be more, effective, I think. Plus,
That's
I'm almost
amazing.
a 6-footer, and I've got the space. So, it's at the face. And
you physically are taller. You don't need to.
I don't need the yelling. And plus, I don't know if you ever saw the Far Side cartoon where it says, what you say to the dog. It's like, Fido, we need to get down from the couch, and we need to Fido. And what the kid, what the dog hears is Fido, blah, 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 Fido. And I think I equate that with the children. I just think, when the yelling, I think they tune it out. And they really do. And I don't think it's as effective as sometimes just taking a breath and stating your case a little bit more
That's so
clearly.
So
and my nostrils flare though. They know when I'm upset. I guess I have flaring nostrils, and my daughter does a great impersonation of me trying not to yell, which is kind of comical in its own right. So
I'm a yeller. I mean, I guess not as much. I don't know. I guess I'm sort of in the middle. But I have gone ape on my kids.
Well, I mean, there are moments. And when the guinea pig was stuck in the Barbie car, and after a joyride, nothing scares me anymore. I'm a mother. We're mothers, right? Nothing's frightening. But there are moments. But for the most part, I think it's a little more difficult sometimes. But I think it's easier. I found more effective.
My thing is that I just feel like the only parenting technique I have is a threat that I'm insane. Like my kids, I may go off, and they pretty much believe that I may go off. There's a pin out up there somewhere, and they believe that there's a chance Mom could totally embarrass me or lose it. So I don't often do it, but I did it enough when they were little that threat has been my only tool. It's the only tool in my tool.
I remember reading once that a mom wrote some column about, if you whisper, the threat is there more. It's a little more frightening when they whisper. And I tried that for about 2 days. And it literally went like this. I'd be like, get over here now. And they'd be like, what? And I'm like, get over here. And they're like, I don't even know what you're saying. I don't know. And it just became this loud, like eventually I had to just scream at them, like to get my point across. There was no menacing threat in my whisper. It was more like, I'm really angry. Yeah. There was no embedded fear in that. They were just sort of like, is something wrong with you?
Do you have laryngitis?
Yeah. Yeah, speak louder.
Yeah, I find if we, firm stance, good. I mean, sometimes my youngest especially will just spill it. It's like, okay, all right. So then I did this and I did this. And
Well,
this, So I think the silence kind of makes them a little bit more. It can be more intimidating and frightening sometimes when necessary than just yelling random, thoughts. Just
My kids will say, someone's coming over, please don't be weird. That's like what I'll get.
That's never gonna
Someone else
happen.
is in the house, don't be weird. All right.
My son
what's
doesn't
that?
invite people over, so I think maybe, I don't know, maybe
He
he's a little
knows.
embarrassed. I don't
So,
know.
are you mad when you yell? I mean, some people. I don't spank. I did a little bit when they were younger, and I realized the only time I actually did spank them was when I was enraged, which is not what you want. I mean, honestly, I didn't know how to discipline in a calm way, so I couldn't really. I had to not make that part of what I did. But when are you yelling and you're mad?
Yes.
You're mad.
I'm
straight
mad.
up mad.
I'm mad.
Yeah.
Like my son recently, great story. He wasn't allowed to have his iPad anymore, but he found it and he took it and he set up all kinds of social media accounts and put some very not nice things out there. And I was enraged. I could not contain my emotions whatsoever. I was the crazy screaming mom, spit flying out my mouth, tears,
Mommy
everything.
dearest, that's who it
and I
is.
just exactly. And I just couldn't control myself. And I mean, it might have been some other things that had happened that day, that if I was having a bad day, I can't even remember because all I remember is that moment.
That moment.
And I mean, there's some things that,
What'd you wind up doing? You yelled, but what else?
well, took it away.
Took it away. How long?
He never again.
Never again.
Never again.
See, that's the hard part. That's the hard part is the consistency and staying with it, because Bill Cosby said this and it's true. Parents don't care about fairness, they care about quiet.
Yeah.
Just shut up.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. It's so what's your what is your you yell, I yell. What's your method of discipline mostly for your kids? Is it a timeout? Is it taking away? What works for you?
My kids are young, okay?
Right.
So they're 3, 5, and 6. So, they don't get intimidation or quiet tactics. Yeah, they don't know what to be afraid of that yet. They're just, they function at a loud volume. Everything they
You
do
stay
around
here.
them is loud.
Yeah.
It's just loud, loud, loud at my house all the time. So we just got back from a road trip. We went to Disney for a week. And I didn't know I was the type of person who would scream at my kids at Disney. But I now know that I'm the person that will scream at their kids at Disney because you just sort of, what they don't realize is, they may just be poking each other constantly in the eye, but I'm looking at this, I just spent thousands of dollars and we're at Disney.
Right, the
and
perspective is totally
everyone's
different.
Crying and they're not seeing it from adult perspective, but I do. I yell. That's instinctively what I go to. I try to warn them at first and then yell, but even when I take things away, they just sort of don't have that connect yet to like that it's a long-term punishment, you know? It's just
Time is
not there yet.
They're like little puppies right now.
Right, it's just not there yet.
How about you? So you have the menace and the quiet threat of height, which I do not
Yeah,
possess.
I got the height thing going on. But you know what else I have, which I'd love to give you part of this gift without having you go through the initiation because it's brutal, but I am in the Pink Sorority Club. And, once you've battled a little thing called cancer, there's not much that phases you. So that's
your
another
life
thing.
perspective is
Your life
totally different.
perspective. And when you have those sentences, which occur on every day that ends in Y, that, Mom, it's not as bad as it looks. When that sentence comes flying at you, you're like, yeah,
You're right.
No, you're right. Like once you've been stuck in a tube and had a sticky note to tell you the probability of being here in 5 years, it's all good. So I do have that perspective. So so maybe that's why who knows? But I mean, I've always been pretty even keeled. But it's. But they do know that there's no doubt when I am upset, but I get more intense and quiet and focused, which really scares,
All right.
that into, submission.
It's all perspective. It's what you said, though. And it's all the kids, too. Some kids totally kowtow when you look at them funny, and other of them will, flip you the bird. All right, when we come back, we're going to eat some oatmeal. Brittany and I are going to make a fun refrigerator oatmeal. Don't go away.